Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rob Has a Podcast. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and we are here tonight to talk about this Tuesday night episode of Big Brother Canada 11. And we have an episode to talk about, and let me tell you, we've got some other stuff to talk about as well, because there's some wild nonsense going on in the world of Big Brother Canada 11 that we're going to have to wait till the spoiler section to talk about. But until then, let's talk about this episode. With me to talk through it all is Chantele. How you doing, Chantele?
You know what I need from you both? I need for both of you to make this recap ooze, okay? Ooze. That's what I need. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with brosifs and brochachos.
Exactly.
All right. Well, also with us here tonight is Melissa. How you doing, Melissa?
Well, not great because I have no power right now, which is why the lighting looks all weird. It's just like purely coming from the windows. So when it gets dark, I will not be seen. And also I'm using a hotspot for my phone, so it's cutting out a lot. So I apologize, but I just had to join to discuss this episode, mainly because like it's very clear we have no idea what is going on and that we are totally off. We had like the wrong nominees, the wrong winner for our stock watch. And, you know, I got a lot of hate for saying like that it was pointless, but where's the lie? Like we literally rated based on wrong information the whole time. Like we had fun, but it was like not based in fact. So, you know, whatever. Yeah, that's just, it is what it is at this point.
It is what it is. All right. Well, let's talk through this episode because guess what, guys? We are dogs.
We're dogs.
Yeah.
We're not kittens.
Yeah.
Not kittens. Not kittens. I missed the soundbite last time, but I got it this time. Luckily, they replayed it.
Thank goodness. Phew. I would have missed that. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna spend the first like half of this episode, it feels like, talking through this rogue vote situation. Oh no, who voted the other? Who dared go against the majority of the House and not tell people who they voted for? Who could it be? Is it Hope? Is it Daniel? Is it Zach? Is it Vanessa? Oh no, who is it going to be?
It's going to be a lot of who cares. That's how I was kind of feeling, like, not to be a negative Nancy over here, but like all of this happened like 5 days ago. I'm just like, okay, like whatever, who cares? Like, let's move on. I definitely not really dwelling on this road vote personally. Like it doesn't matter that much. And so, yeah, I was kind of bored by this being such a main focus at the beginning of the episode.
I thought it was interesting that it seemed like they were doing all that prior to competing in the HOH. So I guess like it was between like the eviction and the HOH, they had like some time to like go around and ask about the vote. I don't know. Because don't they usually just like one right after the other, the eviction happens and then they play the HOH? Or is that just like...
Maybe not. Like maybe the schedule is completely different now because we didn't get anything.
They didn't even start it during the episode, so I think they had a little more time.
Could have been on like Friday.
I just feel like I noticed like Kuzi saying this throughout, like just like you said, Chantele, like it is not like, it doesn't really matter. It's like that's past information, especially if it doesn't make a difference. Like if it doesn't make a difference and it's just like move on, just like play, you know, continue playing starting at this point forward. Like this is a whole new week. Just, you know, obviously if you are the person on the block who got voted against, like, yeah, sure, you might be like concerned about it. But I feel like the idea of like Daniel going around like, oh, you know, he's trying to pin it on me. I don't know what's going on here. I definitely didn't do it. I'm going to cause a stir. I'm going to, you know, confront them. It's like, just don't worry about it. Like you're creating the drama, like you're creating the issue when you keep doing that. If you just stand your ground and say like, it wasn't me, I feel like that's sufficient. And I mean, there are some cases where like, oh, you know, they're going to use that to put you on the block. But I feel like in this situation, when everyone's kind of just like, all right, whatever, you don't need to keep it going. You can just be like, it wasn't me. Boom, done.
Yeah, and I'm feeling like Daniel was like kind of ruining his game with like his kind of blow up. And I don't want people to think he's like a loose cannon and you can't tell him things as blow up and blow things out of proportion. I was like, oh, people were trusting you and like talking to you. And if you were part of a plan or you spoke about a plan, like I think that people still trust in him right now to be like, yeah, it wasn't me, like you're saying. And instead, like now he kind of looks guilty to me, even though we know that he's not. And so I kind of wish that he was handling this whole thing a little bit better as well.
Well, I do think on the flip side of that, what we saw in the dailies at least was that, you know, a lot of people were saying, no way was it Daniel. He was way too mad about it.
Okay.
And you know, that can really go either way. And I think a lot of it has to do with like your relationship with people beforehand. You know, people can say all they want, like, oh, you were quiet, so I knew it was you, or oh, you were loud, so I knew it was you. And it really just depends on like, do you like the person? Do you want to believe them or do you not want to believe them? Because if you don't
100%.
want to believe them, you will find any reason to not believe them. And if you like the person, you will find any reason to believe them. And so, you know, ultimately, I think there is, I think this is something worth pointing out here, which is that there is some value to being seen as somebody who doesn't have a great filter. Now, I think having a good filter is valuable in the game of Big Brother. I think it's a very key element of the game. But I do think there's value in being seen as not having a good filter. And we've seen people who don't have a good filter, like paradoxically, find some success in the game. And I think it's because there is some unintended benefit from it, which is that you feel like what I see is what I get when it comes to Daniel, right? He can't contain himself. When he's upset about this situation, he's going to go off and you know, question people about it, get people in here that, you know, gives a perception of somebody that you feel like you can trust more than somebody who, like, say, Zach, who, like, you know, what did Vanessa say about Zach?
Zach, you're the kind of guy who has to try to be nice.
Ooh, burn.
Right? But like, you can't trust a thing. You can't trust a single reaction, a single word, a single
100%.
like micro expression that Zach gives off because you feel like he's like, you know, filtering everything that he gets. Right. And so while I don't think that Daniel did this intentionally to give off that perception, I do think that probably the reaction, which was, I think we can trust Daniel based on his reaction, comes from the fact that A, he has good relationships with people, and B, they feel like what you see is what you get, which is, I think, probably mostly true, but we are seeing that they are underestimating his level of sort of game knowledge and willingness to play the game. And I think this is probably one of the reasons why. So interesting stuff, I think.
Actually, no, it's a good point. Like, it's showing him being like more authentic, and yeah, actually, it's like a good place for him to be in this particular house configuration.
Yeah, it's similar to like being seen as a bad liar. Like, if people think that you can't lie, then anything you say is going to be taken at face value. So, yeah, I could see something like that being good for him. But I do feel like it's like, just let it go at a point, just because the more you drag it out, the more it's like a thing. And, you know, if it gets to the point where multiple people are denying it, like, very strongly, it's like, well, we'll never know who did it. So let's just get them all out because, like, let's get both of them out because they're liars. Like, one of them is lying. We can't trust either of them. So let's just, you know, it's easier for us to just let them both go. I don't think that's going to be the case here, but I do think it's kind of like, the more it gets dragged out, the worse it gets. So let it go.
And I think that, like, if we see on like a drop at some point, like Daniel's still being like, and I didn't do that, by the way, that was a whole thing. Like, that's the point where there's no amount of like being upfront where this, you keep dragging this up. Like, it's not gonna work well for you. So that's what we get. We get a lot of this rogue vote stuff. And beyond just that, we see a lot of Vanessa denying that she cast this vote. She says she's going to go to the grave with this. And on top of denying the vote, she's also getting in trouble with Daniel and other people for claiming that there were talks about keeping Rob and just all of this stuff. And I mean, this is just a mess, right? Like this is the other
Too
end of that
much.
spectrum where like you don't look at Vanessa and think what you see is what you get, because she's adamantly, very clearly lying about a thing. And not only is she lying, but she's throwing other names out there and causing chaos for people that would otherwise have no issue with her. There's no reason for Vanessa to have Daniel, Kuzi, and Anika against her, and the girly pops and the bros. Like, that's
Why?
too many different groups of people that have reason to have issue with you, Vanessa. They just, what are you doing?
But Shark Vacuums
It's
probably doesn't, for sure.
It's just too much. It's like they're in her position. It's the same. It's too much. But like you said, the opposite direction. I think it would have been a lot better for her to just be like, look, yes, I voted that way. I thought that the House was going in that direction and I made a miscalculation. I made a mistake. I tried to vote with the House and it didn't work out, or whatever. Just say something. And then it's like, okay, well, she made a mistake. She voted the wrong way, but at least she's not a liar. She's telling us the truth. Now it's like, it's so hard to keep that up. And it just makes her look like a liar. And I feel like it's like, that gives the impression like, well, we can't trust her about anything. So we can't work with her. We can't work with someone like that. And it's not a good position for her to be in. I just, Hope is doing it right. You say it wasn't me, and then you shut up. You just believe it.
But so why is she saying though in their diary rooms that she like, she just has to stir the pot. She wants to stir the pot. I'm like, but why? So you came in the game like wanting to stir the pot, or you are a pot stirrer by nature? Like, I'm just trying to understand like what her game strategy is and why is this what she felt compelled to do.
I think this was Vanessa's version of I have to be the bad guy. I think that like,
Yeah.
I think that, and it's one of the sort of fascinating things about seeing people in these environments, these reality bubbles, where, they are in their own society. And when you become isolated in that society, like your sense of normalcy evaporates. You have there's no baseline for you anymore, because you have no person to sort of keep you level. And you just kind of expand into the void of well, I guess I am a bad guy. I guess I am the pot stirrer. I guess I am whatever they're saying I am. And if I can't escape that, then I need to embrace it in some way that makes me feel like I have agency, right? And so yeah, you end up getting these sort of and it's, I think, a similar sort of thing that Jonathan went through last week, where he's like, I'm public enemy number one, I guess, that this man's hat means something.
Man's hat means
Do you think it could be leading questions though from the diary room that's giving them these ideas of how they're being portrayed and perceived?
It's certainly possible, but I don't think the diary room needed to lead Vanessa on, considering that you have Ty saying you're a pot stirrer.
Fair. Oh, poor thing though. I would just not act like that, just for not wanting to have any sort of conversations with Ty. I don't want Ty to confront me about anything, ask me any questions about anything. I would just be on my best behavior just to avoid conflict with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
It's rough.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Ty, Claudia is not really feeling Ty.
Good
really
for her.
Ty.
Woo!
I'm really liking Claudia. I thought she did a great. I like Claudia. I like Kuzi. I thought they did great this episode. Yeah, very good stuff.
Yeah, it's feeling a little skeptical. One of the reasons why is because of this HOH competition that we're going to get to. I will say, probably the best visual competition they've done.
Yes, I was going to say, it's great.
Yeah, you can actually see what's happening, and you can tell when somebody wins and is about to win.
Or just doing well. It was having a good attempts. Absolutely.
I thought it was really well done. I loved the costumes. They were adorable.
So good.
They were so cute. And I thought that the concept was good because it wasn't just I really thought when they were showing the croquet mallets, I was like, oh, it's just going to be who can hit it at a certain level or whatever, and it's just hitting it into the thing or whatever. And I was just like, ugh, that is going to be so dull. And then they had this whole concept of like the things teetering off. I thought it was really well done because, yeah, like you said, you could also see how many things fell off, how many things they have to put back up, how far it got based on how many things fell off. I just thought that it was a very good competition. I think my one critique with it would be that it was shown too long. Like it was just too many times of it falling off and doing it again and doing it again. And it was just kind of like, show us a couple times of it falling off. And then it's like, all right, now here's the winner. Let's move on. But overall, I thought it was a good competition.
And cutting to commercial before the end of it and then coming back and having Kuzi win within like 15 seconds of returning from commercial.
I know, I missed her win.
Right, that's what I was going to say.
And I didn't see it. I was like, oh, I guess she won.
Yeah, you're like still settling back in. Maybe you're like you're sitting back on the couch, right? Like maybe you got up and you're just like, oh, I heard the music. Here we go. Wait, Kuzi won? Like it's just so anticlimactic. I don't understand why they edit like this. It would have made so much sense to me if they had ended with Kuzi winning. And maybe even throw the Ty comment in there as a sort of like, oh, what's that gonna do? Because after Kuzi wins, Ty says, I feel like I won.
What an awful thing to say.
He says it out loud too.
Come on.
He's so cocky.
This is like top 5 baby on steroids.
And the fact that
That's
like Claudia heard and it was just like they like so turned off and being like, oh my god, like Kuzi's not gonna like hearing that. I was like, it's just such a bad thing to say, and the fact that he doesn't even care or recognize that like it could rub somebody the wrong way is wild to me.
Yeah. Speaking of silly decisions, last week Zach won a veto that he had no business winning, did not need to win, should have thrown. This week he is going to say he's throwing this HOH. He says he doesn't need this HOH, wants to throw it. Now we know
he needs it.
from last week that Zach is potentially in some trouble here from a lot of the house, and he should definitely not be throwing this HOH. But look, he wins the ones he doesn't need, and he throws the ones he does. That's just how it works.
He doesn't have a good read on the house, I guess. Not as good as he thinks.
Yeah. So Kuzi is our HOH, and she wants to make a move for the girls. She wants to make a move for the girls. That's it's important to her.
Well, I'm happy that this is like going to make me understand a little bit more about what's going on in the house because we don't see that much. So this was the first time that I remember seeing all these 5 women come together and just talk game or talk to each other at all. So it was nice to see something forming.
And we're going to see this kind of develop, that the women are going to come together and talk about, working together, actually making something happen. As the guys are, contemplating their demise, the women are coming together here.
I am all for it. I always want a women's alliance, even though it never works. But, maybe this is a situation where it finally can work because, I always say that like the women alliance don't work because it's just based on the fact that they're women. But it does seem like these girls do like each other and do want to hang out. So.
Yeah. We did kind of see some of this, or at least we got like a small hint of this in the drops. So it was good to see some confirmation here that basically the trio of Daniel, Kuzi, and Anika are going to team up and join the trio of the girly pops, Renee, Shania, and Claudia, to create a kind of alliance. It seems it doesn't seem like anything has completely been locked in yet, but there is certainly something, and we now also have a name for this trio of Kuzi, Daniel, and Anika. The Shady Bunch.
I like it. That's good.
I don't know if they're that shady, but like I like that it's
I like the play.
It's play on words. It's fun.
Yes, Daniel keeps calling it the shadiest bunch, though. Because
That's not it.
he said we're the shadiest bunch, and Kuzi was like, the shady bunch, and he was like, yes, the shadiest bunch. It's like,
The Shady
which
Bunch
one?
is the Shady Bunch is cute. Play on the Brady Bunch.
Right.
The Shadiest Bunch is nothing.
not good.
Yeah, it doesn't really ring off the tongue quite as much. The Shady Bunch, I like it.
Me too.
That's a good one. I'm into it.
We are gonna get some Five Guys content. We're gonna get some
love Five Guys.
some Five Guys.
Guys.
Order some Five Guys burgers. It's so cool how they like brought the barrel of potatoes into the pantry to like really be like a Five Guys. And look who's here.
Peanuts.
It's Spicy V.
Spicy V. Nice. We didn't get to see much from her, but we got a little taste.
Teeny little bit, and her having to go press play to go watch this clip because like I know that that Kuzi is one of the super fans of the show, but like I don't know what that means really yet, so I don't know if she's seen all of Spicy V's season, so I guess that's why they have those clips there.
It looked like she recognized her.
Good.
Yeah, it looked like she. I mean, look, to be fair, I am glad that they have those like clips that they show them beforehand because I feel like it's so like too cringy to me when they don't know who it is and they're just like, hey, like I'd much prefer that they like watch a couple clips, know that they're from the show, and then can be like, okay, so I'm supposed to know who this person is, So it's I can't watch that Chris's mom clip. I can't. It's one of those things that just like hits me at a weird spot where I'm just like, I hate this. Like it's so funny, but I hate it so much, and I feel so uncomfortable that like I cannot watch it. I just like fondly remember how crazy it was, but I just like won't watch it.
I swear, like every time I see a clip of like a past season, like whether it's Spicy V or it's Chris's mom, or even I went back and I rewatched the Godfrey speech and I was like, oh man, this show used to be good.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
What are you gonna do? We did
nothing apparently. Nothing that we do will do anything, so it doesn't matter.
There was a moment here. I didn't realize this was possible. Apparently, Hope is just going to eavesdrop in on the Spicy V advice. What's up with this?
I noticed it, but
honestly, good for him.
Well, he loves Spicy V, so
since when are they not locked down? He can just go right up to the door and be like,
I love you, Spicy.
He's just talking about food, right? Spicy food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spicy sauce and burgers.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Do you think he forgot the letter?
Yeah. He's just like,
this is spicy.
He's like, I know it's spicy something. Maybe, he's just calling her by her first name. It's just her first name. Like V is her last name. So it's just like Spicy that's it.
First name basis. Yeah.
Yeah. First name basis. He feels very comfortable.
Oh boy. So there's not a lot else here. We should talk about the winner's outfit. How did you feel?
I was like, what? I didn't actually know what you were talking about for a second.
To be fair, she looked great. To be also fair, I was extremely annoyed by like how they were like whooping and hollering, like as if we're supposed to be like so excited for this like winner's outfit. It's just like enough. Like she looked great, whatever. Like I'm sure that it was like fun for them to like play it up, but like I just know the whole time like production's probably just like, okay guys, make a huge deal about this because this is winners. So we want like full on, like this is a photo shoot, everyone have fun. It's just yeah.
Do you think there's like an audience hype person that's like getting them to be amped up, or like someone over the PA being like, oh, come on, okay, let's do this take again. All right, we need to have more action, more attitude,
like
more excitement.
More cheering,
more cheering.
like winners. Like, yeah.
So it's that gives me secondhand embarrassment because I know that they're being told to act like that, and it's like no part of it is authentic. And yeah, it's
Hey, no shame on the outfit. She did look amazing, but
she looked good.
Yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about. I'm like, winner, like the winner. So I'm like, what do you mean the winner? I'm like, oh my god, it's actually the like winner is the store. I completely forgot. But she's great. I agree.
Well, I did poll my live audience watching the episode with me, and they said that the outfit was good on a scale of terrible to not good to okay to good to great.
Okay,
it was
so
good.
Like 7.5.
I think, I mean, look, it was a good outfit, but I do feel like any outfit would look good on Kuzi. So I don't think it's like fair to be like, this is because of the winner's outfit that it looks good. Like, I think you give her anything and she'll look good.
It's going to be hard to not look good on Kuzi.
Right.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, we get to, there's a twist. It's time. Canada is going to save someone.
I was about to get annoyed though. I was like, are we going to watch Mafia on an episode of this show? I was ready to flip my TV screen over. So at least then the lights went down. Then you saw the Chiron come up on the bottom. Like, oh, right.
Like something's happening.
Right. The Bella direct save. Right.
And we got this one wrong. I absolutely thought Vanessa got it.
Well,
no, originally we had it right, and then
yes. Well, there's a little bit of confusion going on about this, but I don't think we can talk about it until spoilers. So for now, we can say, yeah, look at that. Jonathan wins. Not surprising to anyone if you were to take a guess on Thursday night, but maybe a little bit surprising if you didn't take a guess on Thursday night. So Jonathan is safe, but it doesn't seem to really matter because it seemed like he was already safe. So typical Canada saves. In fact, that's kind of best case scenario for a Canada save at this point. So that's fine.
Now, do you think now that the 2 East Coast people have received it that there won't be any more Canada saves?
It's possible. I think they've only done as much as 2 in the past, but last time they did this, which was last season, they waited a lot longer to introduce the second one. So they certainly have plenty of time to introduce more at this point, which I still just don't like. I mean, it's just a wild wrench thrown into all kinds of plans, especially with like how weird it is. I mean, you can't let the same person win over and over, but at the same time, like now it's like, okay, Claudia and Jonathan presumably can't win again. So that means that like if we're doing a third one on week 5 or 6 and it's like there's only a certain amount of people available and these 2 people can't win, which means it's like this person has to win, which just completely messes up like this person's, like it's just oh boy, this could be a mess.
Yes.
This is a twist, by the way. This is probably apart from maybe like the fake double eviction and a couple of other like massive ones, probably the least the twist that has like been received the worst the show has ever done. It always either backfires or does nothing, and yet it is the one they have seemingly tried the most. They keep trying this twist over and over and over. They are waiting for the one time it actually does the entire thing. It is like the entire purpose of the twist to exist, which is to save a fan favorite in a moment of need. And like it just still hasn't even come close to doing that, despite the countless times at this point that they've tried.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's great. Like, I love when the plans fail, when things that like I don't like. So hopefully they keep trying and it keeps not working. And yeah, that would be satisfying for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, we may lose Melissa here soon, because she has, as stated earlier, she has no power, which means her laptop.
My laptop has just been like quickly losing power this whole time. And now it says I'm low battery and it's going to sleep soon unless it's plugged in. If the power comes back on, I have it plugged in so that it will turn on. Like the power will, charge, but it's so far not looking good. And it's been off for like an hour or so. So
Melissa really taking inspiration from the digital dailies.
Yeah.
I know.
For this
I'm like,
podcast.
yeah, I'm
Drop
just
the
gonna go
call.
away for a few days.
Yeah.
So
No reason. Just
no
gone.
reason, just gone. But yeah.
Well, we have a couple more things from this episode. Anika actually is going to make a great pitch to take a big shot at one of the big players, Zach or Ty. She's going to use the argument that, like, look, you don't want to waste this opportunity. Like, don't leave this HOH. You might never get this opportunity again and not make that kind of move. Now, I got to say, I feel like this is one of the fastest learning curves I think we've
I
ever
know, I was gonna
seen for a
say.
player.
She's that player that comes in this season and doesn't know anything, and she's like, I'm just gonna wing it or whatever, and then like picks it up. Like, I've been very impressed with her. I really hope that she can go far and really just become like a really strong player in this game.
Yeah, I'm definitely impressed with like her having that foresight to see like this is what we should do. Now the next stage is just to see when she has power, if she is able to use it appropriately to set herself up and, you know, do all the things that she's urging Kuzi to do. Like if she's able to do it herself, then I can be like, you know what? I was completely wrong about how I thought you're going to play this game. So that's my last little step that I want to see her have some power. But yeah, up until now, I'm pretty impressed for sure.
Yeah, I feel like it's very easy to tell somebody else to make a big power move and do the right thing. And then when you're in the position, it's kind of like, oh, maybe I'll just take out one of these like peripheral people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Ty is also going to make a pitch for Kuzi to make a move, but this one is going to be less well received because that's what prompts her to say this.
Like the great Godfrey said, I want that blood on my hands.
Oh,
nice.
So good. So good. I mean, she did get the quote just like a slightly backwards with the descriptors because Godfrey said, I want your blood on these hands, not that blood on my hands. But
Close
still,
enough.
Good enough, especially because it's being used against another Zach.
It's true.
Bringing it back.
Pretty ironic. It's perfect. Perfect.
Love it. Love the Godfrey mention. Like I said, I went back and I watched that clip. And it's so good. He says, don't use that veto on me because you should use it on your buddy JP, who you put up next to me. Because let me tell you, that was a mistake. You shouldn't have put up your closest ally as a pawn to send me home. And we know how that turns out, don't we?
Aww.
Sorry, JP.
Aww.
Speaking of Godfrey, he's going to be on Bachelor in Paradise Canada coming soon.
That's so wild.
He's gonna get
good for him.
Hopefully no more blood anywhere.
Yeah, just love.
Yeah.
Just love on his hands.
Oh boy. All right. So we get to the nomination ceremony, and the nominees are Vanessa and Santina. Santina, a potential target, but of course, Kuzi is considering other options. I gotta say though, I disagree with the Vanessa nomination here.
Yeah.
I think this is an error. You are leaving a huge vulnerability in your own plan. Having Vanessa on the block, knowing that Ty really wants her gone, that Zach really wants her gone, and they have some numbers to potentially do so. And you know, more than that, even like what kind of damage is this going to do to your relationship with Vanessa, who doesn't really have many people in this game? And I assume, especially based on her reaction, kind of felt like Kuzi was one of the people that she maybe could trust or work with. And she seems pretty disappointed by this. And it's just kind of like surely there were some better options here.
Yeah, I think that she just didn't want to, like, she wanted just to have the house target, house enemy go up there so she feels like she's not actually getting that blood on her hands. I think that that's kind of why she felt she's taking maybe like the easy route with putting up Vanessa and then with the hopes of doing some sort of backdoor type scenario.
Yeah, I think it's a bad move. It's just, I mean, like, hopefully it works out for her, but I do feel like, I think even like the initial thought where we thought Hope was nominated alongside Santina, I think that probably would have been better, but you know, oh well. Well,
Santina's not pleased. I'll tell you that one.
Like she definitely made me like her. I was like, am I in my liking Santina era right now? Because like, if she when she's not screaming and when she's mad, I'm kind of vibing. I'm like, I liked what she had to say at the end of the episode.
Yeah. She really, she was like, oh, I can't believe you would put me up and not tell me first. Can't believe anybody would do that. That's such a terrible thing to do to somebody. Is the only thing that could make it worse is if you had promised me safety or something.
And we worked together on the head of household competition. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's kind of the episode. Probably the best Tuesday episode we've gotten so far, but that's mostly because the other ones were like in the gutter.
So the bar is just low.
At least from my perspective.
No, I agree. I mean, it's probably because we had like the head of household competition as well, and so we had all that happen, and so it wasn't just the second half of the episode that we were watching that was stretched out. So that's probably what made it more interesting. But like, I think, is this the new structure? Do you think that this is the way that it's going to be? We're not going to get the competition on Thursdays anymore, and like we're going to have to wait till Tuesday. Like, is that the new norm?
Yeah, I think it's going to be, I mean, that's typically what we get with BBCAN is that we rarely get the competition on Thursdays. And, sometimes we get the start of one at best most of the time. So, yeah. That's the episode, though.
It is.
Let me tell you, as I said at the start of this podcast, there's actually, there's some stuff to talk about with the spoilers. That It's kind of hard to talk about this episode without spoiling things. So that's what we got. That's what we got for the episode. Thank you for joining us. If you're gonna bounce out here, but don't, because this is a wild ride. Are we ready?
Yes.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
A spoiler.
warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
Spoiler.
against this country has been detected and that protective action should be taken.
Okay, what the hell? That wasn't to Melissa, who just disappeared, by the way. That was to the episode. She made it just to the end of the spoiler song. Oh boy. All right. Well, no more Melissa.
Yeah, I guess it's indicative of some of the spoilers, right? It's
Yeah,
quite parallel.
That's truly representative of what we got here. So let me tell you. Let me tell you a story if you have not been keeping up. The story is that the first drop we got with Kuzi as the HOH was her saying that she planned to put up Vanessa and Santina, with Santina as the target and Dan as a backup target. When the Monday drop happened, which was from Sunday that it was recorded, we discovered that she did not go through with that plan. She instead put up Hope and Santina, and that Hope had won the veto, and that there's all kinds of new plans happening because of that. And so because she didn't put up Vanessa, and because of some of the things being said, there was some speculation that Vanessa may have won the Canada safety twist. Now, I was a little skeptical of this, mostly because that would have meant that the Canada safety twist actually did something. And that, to me, felt implausible. So, in fact, we do see that Jonathan won the Canada safety. Whoa, okay. All right. That's not too surprising. It was possible. We didn't have any confirmation. We just kind of assumed because she seemed so dead set on putting Vanessa on the block. So clearly what happened is that Jonathan won safety and Kuzi changed her mind and decided to put Hope on the block instead. Or maybe Hope volunteered and that gave her an out to not put Vanessa on the block. One of those two things. Wait, we're at the nomination ceremony already? How are they going to explain why she put Hope up? This makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, Vanessa, I have nominated you. And I'm like, yeah, Santina. First, I get it. Then Hope. Wait. Vanessa? Wait, you put up Vanessa? Hold on. Wait, is Vanessa on the block with Hope? No, it's Santina. I know it's Santina on the block. Wait, what's happening? Why is Vanessa on the block? Wait a minute. We mentioned this. She wasn't on the drop on Monday. Is Vanessa gone?
I'm thinking that is what has gone down.
I think Vanessa's gone.
And I think that that could also be why we have a blackout with the daily drops, is because they want to save it all for the episode to explain away what has happened. But I think she left the game. I don't think, or maybe there's some sort of altercation and she decides to leave the game. But yeah, I think that that's kind of what went down.
Yeah, because another piece of news here is that this morning, Big Brother Canada tweeted out that the daily drops have ceased for the time being. That for the next couple of days, we will not get a drop. I assume they mean until the eviction, and that the next one we'll get is Friday. And the speculation for why that happened is that, Zach and Ty are in some trouble.
Right.
And could be
someone's
doing
expelled, right? I thought that was just maybe a joke. Who's that? Oh, you went on your phone. I was going to suggest that, and then you were gone.
Like, this is all I got. I'll try. I've got a phone.
Yay! How much battery do you have on your phone?
Who cares about emergencies? My phone's about to die, but this is way more important. So hopefully
yes. Let me just quickly finish the explanation, then we can get Melissa's thoughts, which is, again, so the daily drops have stopped. There was some speculation that it could be because Zach and Ty are maybe acting poorly and maybe treating Kuzi poorly. Maybe it has to do with the fact that Ty's play to not let Zach leave is to essentially convince Hope to quit the game. And so maybe there's some of that involved. Maybe it is that, plus the Vanessa situation. But certainly it seems like Vanessa may not be in the game anymore. My first instinct was perhaps she quit. She certainly seemed kind of low energy in the episode, and being sort of betrayed by Kuzi and being on the outs in the game, saying she didn't really want to play the game anymore, but only play competitions. Certainly, tends toward the idea that maybe she quit the game. However, we do have a tweet from Vanessa's Twitter account saying, "Let me put these rumors to rest. V wouldn't ever quit this game." So that certainly seems to imply that she didn't quit the game, that maybe instead it could have been a medical evacuation of some sorts. I assume it's not an ejection or anything, although that's not completely out of the realm of possibility considering Big Brother Canada 8. And it's theoretically possible she is still in the house and that it was just some wild twist that took her off the block and put Hope on instead, and that the feeds cut or the drop cut is because there's bad behavior going on, or I don't know. I don't know at this point. Melissa, what do you got on all this?
I don't know. I feel like they just they gave up. Like they're just like, do we need to keep doing this anymore? Like, let's just scrap it. The people aren't really liking it anyway, so forget it. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. It's certainly frustrating. It's like, I don't know. It's like anytime I think like it can't get worse, it just gets worse. So like I feel like I'm at a loss at this point.
I also wonder if if there's an altercation between Ty and Zach, if it's after maybe Kuzi does replace Zach or Ty, one of the two of them on the block, and then that caused some friction between them, whomever goes up on the block, because that's something that they might want to keep out of the daily drops until after the eviction, or at least after the veto episode. That could also be something that happens. So it could be all of the above. It could be Vanessa either quits or gets expelled or whatever. And maybe it's a second expulsion where like Zach and Ty get into some sort of thing. Like maybe two people leave this game before the end of the week and not due to being voted out.
Yeah, and just to be clear, Hope did say directly to Kuzi, "Thank you for putting me on the block." And when Ty went to Hope saying, "I need you to do something crazy with the veto," he said, "What, like take Santina off?" And Ty says, "Yes, maybe." And Hope says, oh God, right after I decide I want to stay, again, implying that he is currently on the block and that doing something crazy with the veto would mean not using it on himself and that could put him in danger. So to me, it feels very confirmed that Hope is in fact on the block, which means that Vanessa somehow got off the block. Whether that means out of the house entirely or just off the block is not entirely clear. But it certainly seems like I would assume, given the fact that she was not seen at all in the latest drop, the fact that the drops are no longer there, that she is probably not in the house anymore, and that it happened pre-veto, and so they just replaced her on the block.
But I have another thought. Maybe there was some Wendy's Bucks usage. And maybe, I don't know, Kuzi has most of these bucks. Like maybe they were able to take someone off the block, or maybe third nominee, or maybe that could be something that they wouldn't want to just have all willy-nilly on the daily drops. And so instead they want to save this sponsored content with like using these bucks to maybe get off the block. So maybe that's another idea.
I just wish there was like, I just wish there was some sort of like explanation, and also like even like an apology, I guess, from production. Like I just feel like all of this is like the way that they've been treating the fans this season has just been really disheartening. It's just like, don't they understand that like we loved this show, or we loved this show? Like, don't they understand that like all of this is like out of love? Like we are like obviously like obsessed with this show, and I just feel like they're just like they're treating it and us as if they just like do not care. And it's very sad to me, especially because like, okay, Big Brother US, like they've never really cared about us, like we get that, but Big Brother Canada, like, and like the thing is with Big Brother US, they don't need to care about us, like they have a ton of people watching them and like whatever. But Big Brother Canada, like we saved Big Brother Canada. The fans saved Big Brother Canada. Like they would not be a show for like the past 5 years if it wasn't for us. So it just makes me feel sad that there's not like more communication between production and us. And yes, they don't owe us anything or whatever, but like they kind of do. And I kind of wish they felt that way. Like I kind of wish they would, you know, like at the very least, just be like, look, I know this isn't ideal, like, but for like certain reasons in the house, we like can't give you guys these feeds this week or whatever. Like, even just saying like, I'm sorry that this, like, we're not doing our job. Like, I'm sorry that this has been such a disappointment. Like, we wish there were feeds too, or literally anything. And just feel like there's just been no communication. And then the only communication has just been like stupid memes or whatever, or like, you know, making us vote, like asking for our votes for some sort of fan thing, or like asking, you know, who do you want to see get a Circle K haul or whatever. And it's like, it's just like, that's not what we want. Like, we want just like some open honesty, and that's it. Like, you know, it just,
I mean, I think the problem is that open honesty is not what you're saying. Like that, they would just be lying. We know how they really feel. John Michael told us how they really feel is you guys are toxic AF, and we want to punish you because of that.
I hope that's
right?
not true. I hope that's not true, honestly. Like, I mean, I don't believe Arissa feels that way. Like, you know, and it sucks that she hasn't been able to say anything. Like, I know that she wants to keep her job and all that, and she can't say anything, but like, I wish she could, because it's been very sad to just see Arissa just like tweeting out like, okay, are you ready for drama?
Yeah,
or
like,
whatever.
who
And
cares?
yeah, it's just like, I don't care about the drama. Like, I want to, you know, I want to know the truth. I want to know what's going on. And also like, okay, if that's the case and they do think we're too toxic, like tell us that. Just give us some sort of communication. I just want something. I want, like, if it's that they are trying to in fact punish us, then like tell us that. But don't just sit there and be like, hey, we're doing Big Brother Canada like normal. Isn't this normal, everyone? And it's like clearly not normal. So I don't know. That's all. I'm just like, I think like, and maybe this isn't, when they announced today that they weren't like going to have dailies or whatever, I just like
Rolled your
I felt
eyes?
like I wanted to throw up my hands and just be like, whatever, who cares? Like, they're not giving us anything anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Like, okay, whatever. I
Outdated
don't know.
information. Who cares?
Yeah. It's like I feel like I'm losing like even the steam to like be upset, which I feel like that's like worst case scenario where like the
you
people
don't
who
care
are,
so much that you don't care.
yeah, like where
Ugh.
you've just lost all interest. So I don't know. It's just like I don't know. I'm too over it to be like so mad. I'm just more just like over it.
Reality is just a little too real for them, I think. It's they don't like it. They want to live in a fantasy land where they control everything, and they don't have to show what they don't want to show.
Well, like if they wanted that, then like Melissa, like you said on the round table, was like, then just film it and put it together in episodes. You can drop them 3 times a week like you like, but at least it'll have a thorough narrative, and then we can just watch along and just be taken on a journey. But instead, like not being told the truth, trying to suss out what's actually happening, like what is the storyline, what's the plot that you're trying to give me? It just doesn't make any sense. And so I think they need to just choose their lane, do one or the other. And either choose to just be a show where you have like your story editors that come and build each episode, or you go back to what originally was. But I don't think they can do this half measure here, because it's like it's not working for anybody, I don't think.
I genuinely think they have a disdain for the fan base. I genuinely think
holding them accountable.
I think the fact that John Michael talks to production and comes out saying, yeah, I heard you guys are toxic and that's why you're not getting feeds, I think is a very clear message. And I think that the day-to-day workers on the show would be happy to put together like a nice packaged piece of content that would be what people actually want to see. But the higher ups probably say, no, actively don't work on that. We don't want you to spend time on that. We want you to release garbage because we want to give them garbage.
I mean,
because they're toxic and we hate them.
Honestly, I don't think you're wrong. The fact that out of all like the digital daily stuff that we got from this week, maybe like one scene from the episode was from that. Like we saw maybe one, like the conversation with Santina, but I definitely don't remember Kuzi afterwards saying like, oh, I can't work with her or trust her or whatever. Like I don't remember seeing that, like, which clearly like seemed to come right after that conversation. So that just goes to show that they're not giving us like the good content, because when I watch the live feeds, like I'm watching the good stuff. So like I'm watching all the scenes that end up in the episode. And obviously I'm watching more than that, but at least I see the scenes that are going to be on the episode, because I know what's good and I know what I'm interested in, and I know what's going to be important. And I feel like there's no rhyme or reason to like the scenes that they show us. And it's, I feel like I've talked this point to death. I know I've talked this point to death. It's not just that I feel it, but it's like, we're just constantly talking at nothing, because there's no like response. There's no like anything. We're not getting anything back. So it's just, we just keep repeating ourselves, and it's just, I don't know.
Like, are they putting us in the hamster wheel? Are they making us the show?
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Seriously.
That would be really cool if that's what they're actually doing. But
it's just, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, the only thing I can think is that they either like, they are planning that this is their last season, and that they're just gonna
make as much money as possible.
Yeah, like they just want to finish it out. Like, and that's that. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. This is where we're at this point, like it's very shady business, I will say. The idea that the fan base is toxic is sure, there is certainly some toxic elements of the fan base. Usually the ones complaining about the fan base being toxic. But I mean, look, Big Brother Canada production don't throw stones in a glass house. All right. That's all I'm going to
Mhm.
say. I've talked to plenty of former house guests. If we're going to talk about shady and toxic. So, you know, it's just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that, that they think this is acceptable, given the format of the show previously. To just throw that out there and be like, oh yeah, just, you know, shady stuff is happening. I mean, again, look at what happened in Big Brother Canada 8. Expulsions happened, and we were able to see why they happened, right? With Vanessa's Twitter account tweeting out she would never quit the game. What if she got expelled? What if we didn't get to see why? What if they're not allowed to talk about why? Like, there's just, you know, you do not have the track record to be able to say, we're not going to show you this stuff. Just trust us. And for that to just be okay. It's just a wild situation here. And again, that's all beyond just the absolute, like, wreckage of a show that is left left over from all of it, which is that, like, it's just, you know, colossally less entertaining, and the community is, like, on life support at this point. Like, it's just what a mess this has become.
Totally.
So sad.
I know. It's so
so
sad.
sad.
It's this was
Do you know
like
how pumped I was when Big Brother was coming to Canada? Because, like, I've been a watcher of my entire, like, since it started, I've been watching Big Brother, and it was always my favorite show. I remember every summer I was so excited to watch Big Brother, and then it was coming to Canada, and then it was hosted by someone I knew. I was like, this is the best, like, scenario here. And then the show was actually pretty good, and I was like, wow, like, Canada does it right this time. I'm so happy. I'm so proud. And just, like, I'm just so sad and disappointed that, like, my favorite show has just kind of dropped, and it's not something that I look forward to watching anymore. And, like, I never thought that I would ever say that.
Yeah. All right. So that's kind of where we're at. I mean, at this point, like, it seems as though Vanessa is probably gone. And the new target at the time that the feeds cut or the drop ended yesterday was Zach. That Zach may be the target at this point, but who knows if that's going to go through, you know, here. You know, what kinds of things are Zach's? And that's the thing too, where it's like, I mean, listen, there's been a lot of talk about, like, how refreshing is it to have a villain on reality TV that's, you know, not too problematic. It's like, we don't know that. Like,
if this is what they're showing us,
like,
like, like the other 24 hours, 23 hours of the day, like, he's probably not great. Like,
yeah. And again, the fact that the feeds are cut, right, or that the drops are not, you know, dropping right now, again, is just like, okay, you're just giving us reason to suspect the worst at this point. There's no reason to cut these things unless you have something to hide. So what are you hiding? You know?
probably
But it's at this point, the most likely outcome seems to be that Zach will be leaving on Thursday. But you know, I think most of what we're going to see from that will be from the episodes, and I doubt we will see some of the comments even mentioned on the drop, like saying that Renee is just a pretty face, and you know, Kuzi being distraught after speaking to him one night. We will see how all of that goes.
all right, my phone's dying. I gotta jump, but
right.
I'm glad I was able to come back on. I
For
hope
one
this
last
power
round.
outage ends. Yeah, we'll see. Good recapping. Bye.
bye, Massa.
Oh
And then there was
boy.
two. Like, we don't know what happened to her. She's gone, just like seemingly everybody else this season. Amal, who
Yes.
knows? Vanessa, maybe, who knows? I don't know.
So we'll see where all of this leads to. I will say one thing, you know, specifically that I wanted to call out from the episode. Anika's argument to Kuzi about why she should target Zach or Ty, saying you don't want to waste this opportunity as the HOH. That is like word for word what Kuzi was saying to people on the drop that dropped on Monday, which is to me always like a very positive sign of like, okay, this was you really made an impact. Somebody is repeating your words to other people. You really made a huge impact and influence over this person. So just more kudos to Anika in a way that I couldn't say in the non-spoiler section.
Yay. Yeah, no, it is awesome. And I want to see how it plays out. So maybe this is why the drop's been gone. Like, I'm like curious as to what's happening. But I just don't know how eager I am to go watch the episodes. But there is some curiosity here, and I'm happy that it seems like Anika and Kuzi are getting this game under wraps. And so I'm rooting for them both.
Yes. All right. Well, that's about what we have for you then. Unless Chantele, you got any other thoughts?
I got no other thoughts. Other than I'm just sad. I'm just sad. I'm sad. But
it really is just like every time I feel like, all right, the initial hate and reactionary stuff is dying down. People are actually talking about like they do something else.
yeah.
It's just like they can't help themselves. Like they actively want us to hate them.
But like I was like, because I did a daily drop recap with you, and I was like, okay, this feels like kind of normal, like getting back into like the groove. And I'm like, okay, fine, it's not that bad. These daily drops, there's still stuff for us to talk about. And then now even that's gone, and so it's like me even convincing myself that things are okay and things are looking up and better. And now it's like, no, we're back to the bottom.
Yeah.
Disappointment, sadness.
All right. Well, I appreciate all of you in the chat watching live. Those of you listening or watching after the fact, you are what make this all worth it at this point. Because let's face it, the producers certainly aren't. So I appreciate all of you sticking around, hanging out with us, and talking this through, being a support group for us all here as we mourn the loss of
my favorite show. Basically. It's like, is that how they get me to stop watching the show? Is by just making it so bad that like I'm just like, it's done. It's not what it was. It's over. Yeah. It's over.
Well, we will be here tomorrow after the Know-It-Alls finishes at around 10:30 Eastern to recap tomorrow night's episode, where I imagine we'll learn something about Vanessa leaving. Probably not the truth.
Thursday. I think that they're gonna stretch.
Well, they have to because
it's gonna be the veto, right?
Because Hope was put on the block and played in the veto,
right?
So we will see about that. But yeah, tomorrow night we'll be here. I'll be on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong, watching Survivor, and then of course Big Brother. If you want to see me be surprised at a nomination ceremony for the first time in 2 decades,
that's fun.
Hang out on Twitch.
Look that response. Yeah. That'll be our reality TV, is seeing your reaction to like not knowing what's going on in the episode. That's fun.
Yeah. So tune in for that. And I appreciate all of you that are coming over on Twitch, especially in these dark times. So tune in for that. And then, who knows? Maybe we'll have some more content for you. Maybe the drops will come back at some point. We'll be back on Thursday, of course.
Maybe they're gone for good. Like, who knows? It said a few days, but that could be the rest of the season. But
yeah. So we'll see about all that. Find me on Twitter at Armstrong Taran. Check out the Among Us videos I got dropping over on YouTube. Chantele, what do you got going on?
Well, earlier on today, Sarah from Entertainment, we talked about the final 2 episodes of Australian Survivor. And so it was a fantastic season. If you haven't heard, just like watch the season and come watch our recaps, because it was a really good time. And then other than that, I'm just following the challenge on my channel, Reality Realness with 3 S's on YouTube. So usually do a couple of the challenge recaps a week. And it's a pretty good time because I do love the challenge. There's problems as well, but right now it's normal to me. So I'm like, okay, I still got the challenge at least. Still
got the challenge. All right. Well, thank you all for hanging out. Thank you to Taylor Hale, who has been in the chat all podcast long. She asked, what was worse, this week or Dire Fest?
I think this week,
Unfortunately, at
Dire
least
Fest
with
was
Dire
bad.
Fest, we did get something,
Some feeds, except for when, we did get the outside feeds for a while when stuff was going down. But I think this is worse. Yeah, this was worse.
Yeah. Unfortunately. But I mean, it's just, again, it's like there's plenty to talk about with this topic, but like just imagining what Taylor's season would have been without live feeds, and it's honestly like disturbing to me. And I would not want to support a show that where that would exist. You know what I mean? So it's tough. All right. So that's what we have for you. Thank you all so much for joining us. Hopefully we can get back to something that is a little more positive at some point in time. But until then, we'll see you next time.